Hey everyone, welcome to Fruity Cheats. This channel dives into unbelievable but true stories. The kind that happen in real life when things get messy. We're talking drama, betrayal, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some tales are outrageous, others are deeply emotional, but every single one will keep you hooked. If you're into raw, unfiltered stories about real situations, you're in the right place. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. This is Fruity Cheats Revenge, where the drama is as spicy as it gets. I'll do it for the family, even if it destroys me. This all unfolded in 2014. I was 26, my wife Sandra was 27. We'd been married for 2 years, having met back in college. She majored in accounting, I studied mechanical engineering. Sandra was stunning, long dark hair always styled in a perfect ponytail. Eyes so intense they felt like they could see right through you. And a self-assured presence that made everyone notice when she walked into a room. She spoke with a calm authority that made you feel like you had to earn her approval. I was drawn to her instantly. We first crossed paths at a frat party, bonding over cheap sangria and terrible dance music. Less than a year later, we were married. To me, Sandra was the perfect partner. Smart, confident, and someone who constantly pushed me to be better. She wanted a stable, comfortable life, and I promised her I could make that happen. What I didn't account for was her toxic family. From day one, her mother Isabella treated me like I wasn't good enough for her precious daughter. She'd make cutting remarks right to my face, things like, "My dear, you deserve someone far more sophisticated." Her father, Marco, never stood up to her. Completely passive. Sandra's sister, Serena, was married to Arnold and had been struggling with infertility for years. Sandra and I had planned to wait before having kids. We wanted to travel, grow our careers, pay off the mortgage. Sandra would often say, with her trademark confidence, "We have plenty of time for kids. There are more important things right now." I was fine with that. I had big career goals at my engineering firm. But everything shifted after Isabella had a health scare and landed in the hospital. Suddenly, Sandra panicked. Isabella had spent years drilling into her daughter's heads that family was everything, and that a woman's greatest achievement was producing an heir. A few months later came Isabella and Marco's 30th wedding anniversary, a formal, over-the-top event. During the speeches, Isabella grabbed the mic and dramatically lamented her failing health, saying she feared she'd die without ever becoming a grandmother. That same night, Serena broke down, admitting she had tried multiple fertility clinics, but still couldn't conceive. Isabella clutched her chest and proclaimed, "I just want grandchildren. If Sandra waits too long, I might not live to see one." Then she shot me a look like I was personally to blame. The pressure intensified after Serena attempted to take her own life from the stress. Sandra called me in tears. "Alex, I'm at the hospital. It's Serena. She took pills." When I arrived, Sandra's eyes were red and swollen. Isabella stood cold and expressionless while Arnold paced in the corner. Then Isabella turned to me and said, "If you and Sandra had just given us a child, Serena wouldn't be carrying this burden alone." I was stunned. That's not how mental health works. "Don't pin this on me," I shot back. Sandra stayed silent, as always, when her mother attacked me. 2 days later, the entire family gathered at Isabella's house to find a solution. The same old speech. No grandchildren, heartbreak, a dying wish. My patience snapped. I suggested, "What about adoption for Serena and Arnold?" Isabella sneered. "That's not a real grandchild. We're talking about bloodline. That's non-negotiable." After that, Serena and Arnold started visiting our place more often. They'd whisper with Sandra in the kitchen, but clam up the second I walked in. Sandra became secretive with her phone, snatching it up whenever it buzzed. When I confronted her, she brushed me off. "It's just Serena. She's fragile. You wouldn't understand." Tension between us grew. I started snapping back with petty jabs. "Maybe use that fancy accounting degree to figure out how ridiculous you're being." Then came July 5th, the day everything imploded. I pulled into the driveway and saw several cars. Isabella's, Serena's, Arnold's, and a couple more. My stomach dropped. Inside, they were all gathered in the living room like it was some kind of intervention. Isabella fixed me with that icy stare and said, "We're here to resolve the grandchildren matter." Sandra exploded. "Stop acting clueless, Alex. You've been stubborn about me having a baby and I'm done waiting." Isabella pounced. "Since Serena can't conceive, and you refuse to be a father, Sandra will have a child with Arnold. Serena will raise it as her own." I froze. "What?" Arnold smirked. "We're not asking for your permission. It's basically decided. We just thought you should know." My blood boiled. I turned to Sandra. So you all meet behind my back to cook up this twisted plan, and I'm the last to know? She shrugged. It's for Serena. She's depressed. This baby will give her hope. You've always been selfish. Something in me snapped. You're all insane. I roared, swinging at Arnold and sending him crashing to the floor. Serena screamed. Sandra tried to grab me, and I shoved her aside. Get out of my house. I shouted. They left, hurling insults. Isabella screamed. You're an unworthy husband. My daughter deserves better. Sandra stormed out, but later barged into our bedroom, furious. You're letting them talk you into sleeping with your brother-in-law. That's disgusting, I spat. She glared. You have no idea how hopeless Serena feels. My mother is right. She could die without seeing a grandchild. You just don't care. The fight went in circles, full of yelling and swearing, until she locked herself in the bathroom. I left to cool off. For days we barely spoke, only exchanging bitter remarks. Then one evening, Sandra came home and said quietly, I shouldn't have slapped you, and I'm sorry for what I said. Serena's still on watch, my mother's. She kept scolding me for not getting her pregnant. The entire family seemed to believe it was my responsibility to fix everything. I felt cornered, yet still unwilling to betray them outright. Even with all my anger, a part of me still craved their approval, to be seen as good enough. Eventually, I exhaled and said, fine. We'll talk about having a child. Our child. But one thing's non-negotiable. No more talk about Arnold fathering it. That's over. That night, we made an uneasy truce. For the next 6 months, I gave Sandra whatever she asked for. New furniture, luxury spa days, pricey gifts. She soaked it all in, growing more smug with every indulgence. I liked the control it gave me, holding the idea of fatherhood just out of reach while feeding my own sense of superiority. One evening, she came home positively glowing. I found the perfect spot for a romantic trip, she said. Santorini or the Maldives. I decided to go big. 2 weeks in a luxury villa in Santorini. The tickets cost a fortune, but I wanted to see how far her arrogance could stretch. On February 20th, when the tickets arrived, I rushed home to surprise her. The house was silent. On our bed lay a note in Sandra's neat handwriting. Alex, nothing between us changes, no matter how much we try. I love you, but I love my family too, and I can't stand to see my sister suffer. They need me to give an heir to our bloodline. I'm leaving for a month with Arnold, my parents, and I won't tell you where. You'd only interfere. I have to do this for Serena. When I come back pregnant, we'll pretend it never happened. The baby will be hers to raise. Don't try to find me. I'm sorry. I read it again and again, a slow tremor building inside my chest. She had chosen them, and Arnold. My rage boiled over. I flung the tickets across the room. All my careful control, all the money spent to keep her hooked, useless. After 2 days of stewing in hatred, I'd had enough. I called a real estate agent about renting out the house, sold most of our electronics, furniture, even the car, and drained our joint accounts, leaving only a few dollars behind. If she came back from her twisted mission, she'd return to an empty shell with no access to my money. The next day, I stood in the bare living room one last time, then headed to the airport with a duffel bag in one hand and her abandoned phone in the other. 3 weeks after settling into a small apartment in Toronto, I gave in to morbid curiosity and powered up her phone. Once it connected to Wi-Fi, the notifications poured in. One message froze me, a family WhatsApp group labeled baby. Serena had written, "It's finally happened, everyone. After more than 20 tries, we're going to have a grandchild." Attached were 2 photos, Arnold half-dressed and smug, alongside my wife wearing only underwear, hair damp with sweat, smiling like she'd won something. The second was a pregnancy test showing 2 pink lines. I felt sick. Then Sandra began texting my phone. "Love, I'm home now. Everything went perfectly. I'm pregnant with Arnold's child. Please come back." A moment later, "Darling, come home. We need to talk. The accounts are empty and the cards won't work. I need money for groceries." I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. She wanted me to finance her brother-in-law's baby? Not a chance. Calls poured in from her, then messages from Serena, Arnold, and Isabella. My block list grew by the hour. In their warped reality, I was still family, and still expected to pay. Even my father called, baffled by Sandra's story that I had abandoned her. I sent him the photos. His reply was instant. "Alex, that woman's insane. You did the right thing." In time, I built a new life in Canada, landing a solid engineering job in Montreal. I filed for divorce, using her note and the photos as evidence. Then came the twist. My friend Elliot called to say Sandra had miscarried. She'd lost Arnold's baby, possibly from stress, and had undergone a hysterectomy. She could never have children again. Isabella raged, blaming me. Serena turned on Sandra completely, blaming her for everything. Their poisonous little world was crumbling. Almost a year later, Sandra video called me from an unknown number. When I answered, her face filled the screen. Hollow cheeks, dull skin, eyes sunken like she'd aged 10 years. "Alex, please don't hang up," she said. "I lost the baby. They had to remove my uterus. I can't ever get pregnant again. I cut ties with my mother, with Arnold, with Serena. None of it was worth it. I'm so sorry." I felt no sympathy, only cold satisfaction. I let the silence drag before answering. "Let's keep this short. You made your choice, Sandra. You mistook my love for blind obedience. You wanted to please your vulture of a mother, and thought I'd go along. Now you're living with the consequences." She started to cry. "I know. I was arrogant, cruel, and I let them control me. Can't we fix this?" I laughed coldly. "Forgive you? No. I hope that wretched mother of yours never lays eyes on a grandchild. She pushed you into that insane plan, and you went along because of your entitlement. You'll live with that guilt forever." When she kept sobbing about her health and loneliness, I gave her my last word. "When Isabella dies, I'll make sure to visit her grave, just to piss on it." Sandra let out a guttural cry, tears streaming. I ended the call and blocked her number. By late 2019, the divorce was final. My lawyer ensured she walked away with almost nothing. I paid alimony for 1 year, and that was it. Looking back, I know I wasn't innocent. I was controlling, manipulative with money, and cruel to her family, though they deserved plenty of it. But nothing excuses what they did. Sandra chose her toxic family's deranged plan over our marriage. She slept with her brother-in-law behind my back, expected me to bankroll the child, and thought she could waltz back into my life like nothing happened. Instead, she lost everything: the baby, her ability to have children, her family ties, her marriage, and any financial stability. She threw in her lot with that poisonous family and their sick scheme. In the end, she got exactly what she earned: nothing.